Back in the day, there were many video games based on movies, on like the Atari or the NES or so on. Just about any movie would be turned into a video game in some way, and it didn't even have to be right when the movie came out, which was a bit weird. So at one point, Hollywood decided, hey, why not make a game into a movie? That turned out to be a horrible idea. In fact, I'd say that any movie that is based off of a video game is cursed. Yep, cursed. This is a curse. Start with the Super Mario Brothers movie, which sucked, and you got other terrible movies like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Dead or Alive, Double Dragon, etc. There's a lot more than that, trust me. But how? And why? What causes this curse? Why does every single video game movie suck so bad? To the point where the only exceptions are considered to be Tomb Raider, okay, but then Wreck-It Ralph and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The latter two aren't really based off of any video games. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey guys, I'm DPX. Welcome back to another episode of the In-Depth Detective, where we look at the curse of game-to-movie adaptations. But before we do that, be sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment, and turn on the notifications bell. Got the order a bit mixed up there. You'd think that the games that get turned into movies would be games that can actually work as movies, but they're not. Whether it's Mario, Double Dragon, Angry Birds, Street Fighter, or Mortal Kombat, to name a few, none of these, well, some of which at the time at least, don't have enough to them to make into a full-length feature film. Not bashing on any of these games, but these just don't work as movies. And in the case of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat that would now, they didn't back then because they were still relatively new. But what about the ones that would work? I mean, it can't be all bad, right? Now, not all games that are turned into movies are games that won't work as movies. But a lot of other ones that would work as movies are not even faithful. Movies like Assassin's Creed, Postal, House of the Dead, or one of the Final Fantasy movies are missing most, if not all, of the characters that were in their respective games. Not to mention, there's also supposed to be a Monster Hunter movie at some point in life with parallel universes, which has never been a part of the main game. At least I don't remember it being. And what about every other Resident Evil movie? Enough said about that one. And even if they could be faithful, there's still stuff that is wrong with them. Like the upcoming Sonic movie chose to be live action, and now Sonic looks like this. These games could actually work as movies, but the people choose not to use the correct source material. Oh yeah, the people. That's next. If you want a good movie, the most important thing, I think, is getting the right people for the job. Whether it's the actors, producers, writers, directors, or the studios, you need the right people for the job. And that is where a surprising amount of video game movies go wrong. There's supposed to be another Super Mario Brothers movie with Shigeru Miyamoto as the producer, which is cool, but with Illumination behind it. Illumination can be a future episode. Or not only the fact that there's supposed to be a Tetris movie trilogy, yeah, Tetris trilogy, but by the director of Food Fight, Larry Kazanov. I think I said it right. Or a Duke Nukem movie now with John Cena in the main role. I mean, I can see how he looks the part, but can you really imagine him with those one-liners? Not only that, but with stuff like Dennis Hopper as Bowser, Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman, or The Rock as a Doom Marine, are just a few of the strange casting picks. But it gets even worse with these movies, since there is a director who pretty much had a stranglehold on video game movies. And yeah, we'll get into that next. We can't talk about video game movies without mentioning the guy who arguably made them get a bad rap, and that's I think German film director Uwe Boll, or Uwe Boll. I don't know. He made some of the worst movies ever made, and a lot of them are video game movies. And he made a lot of video game movies. Yeah, and I mean a lot. Let's go down the list. Alone in the Dark 1 and 2, Postal, House of the Dead, Far Cry, Blood Rain 1, 2, and 3, and In the Name of the King 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I didn't list that much, it didn't seem like that, but you made a lot of sequels. So, and would you believe it? All of them are terrible. It also doesn't help that Uwe Boll challenges critics who dislike his movies to a boxing match. He has since retired from filmmaking and started a restaurant business, which is probably for the better. You may say I'm speaking out of my ass, saying that video game movies are cursed. I say I'm speaking out of my brain. I feel that they are cursed. What do you think? That's the question of the day. Do you think video game movies are cursed? Vote in the poll, and also explain why in the comments below. But maybe they can be good. I mean, we do have Tomb Raider, which isn't great, but is good. And we got movies like Wreck-It Ralph, which is based off of a video game that, doesn't really exist. It's a made-up video game. However, it has many video game references. Same with Ready Player One. But instead, that is also based off of a book, and it also wasn't too well received. And we also have Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is heavily based off of video games, like video game themed. But aside from Tomb Raider, in fact, no, we haven't had a single really good movie that is strictly based off of one video game. Tomb Raider is good, but it probably is the best video game movie based off of one specific video game, but isn't really the greatest movie ever. I want to know what you guys think, though. Of course, vote in that poll I mentioned earlier. And what do you guys think? Be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with more The In-Depth Detective or other things. Bye, guys.